Friends and viewer, ROMOLA by George Eliot, another novel by George Eliot. This is the first attempt at fiction outside her home country, perhaps even her home country. The reader is transported to Florence in 1492, where the death of Lorenzo de' Medici, the de facto ruler of the city, has initiated a period of uncertainty. A power vacuum has appeared in the city, and it's a time of unrest with rival group weighing for supremacy and the charismatic preacher Savonarula waiting in the wings. Enter Tito Milima, a Greek-Italian survival of a shipwreck, educated and a good-looking, but down on his luck a state of affair which won't last long. The stranger is taken in by some friendly locals, eventually gravitating to Nilu's barber shop, a gathering praise for intellectuals, and it is here that he receives an introduction to blind scholar Bardo Bardi and his beautiful daughter Romola. Milima is handsome, intelligent, and cunning, and this is his time in the confusion of the new world order. Power, wealth, fame, and love are his for the taking. But is the fear-faced newcomer as good as he seems? As the story progresses in this novel, we see that there's truth in the painter's view of traitor and fair faces, and we begin to discern hints of what's really beneath the smiles and curls. Romola is a great vision of the distant past, a picture of Renaissance, Florence, and a superb story of a man who wants it all. Eliot shows us a visitor who, arriving at the right time and not having any uncomfortable belief or scruples to get in the way, is able to ingratiate himself with various Florentine factions, succeeding in becoming one of the most useful and powerful men in the city. The anti-hero of the novel is a man with fatal flaws which threaten to undo him. The writer at pains to show us that then, just as now, beauty was often only skin deep. Despite having been born in Italy, there is enough of the Greek in Tito to justify a tragedy. This is because Tito is fatally flawed while he is outwardly strong and honest, and on the side he is weak, doubting, and lazy, and not quite brazen enough to ignore the trouble he has brought upon himself. Tito foresaw that it would be impossible for him to escape being drawn into the circle. He must smile and retort and look perfectly at his ease. So, despite the bold word, he is not always able to swallow the pills with a smile. The chain armor he is eventually scared into wearing becomes a physical manifestation of his constant mental fear. As Tito falls in our estimation, his role diminishes, leaving the way open for the rise of Romola, both in character and importance. Beautiful and good, she ever so gradually begins to suspect her husband's shortcoming. So Romola despises Tito once his true character is revealed. Unlike her husband, she prefers helping the sick and poor, however they may be, to scheming for wealth and power. At times, she even ends up healing Tito's enemies. One of the major themes of Romola is the difficulty of doing the right thing when the wrong thing is so much easier and much more lucrative. And Eliot frequently returns to her main message of the way in which we justify our bad deeds to ourselves. She lingers on Tito's decision to ignore signs that his adopted father, Baldassare Calvo, may not be dead after all. But it's never judgmental. Tito's actions are considered carefully as an ethical dilemma. It's all very cleverly done, with constant argument on one side or the other, forcing the reader to examine Tito's behavior and wonder if he would have acted differently. The tragedy is played out against a superbly research background, and the language too evokes the era. We feel ourselves back in Renaissance Florence, witnessing the fall of the Medicis and the rise and subsequent fall of the ambitious and enigmatic Savonarola. Even from within the walls of city state, we are witness to the interference of the Pope and the visit of French army, along with a host of real life character, including Niccolo Machiavelli. There is even mention of Aldo Manuzio, aka Aldus Manutius, the master publisher encountered in Bound in Venus. Of course, there is a little too much research at times, and Romola isn't the easiest of books to get in. The narrator is looking back at times which seem fairly primitive, and the viewpoint is almost clinically detached, giving the book the air more of a scientific study than a novel. Also, as mentioned in Leonie Ormond's introduction, the character of Romola is especially problematic. She is far too modern and anachronistic in the way she thinks and acts, and has the freedom to think and act, just as is to be the case in Felix Holt. The main character here is the least lifelike element of realistic historical recreation. Romola is one of the least read and the least popular of Eliot's novels. However, it's still an excellent book, and of course, despite the title, it's Titu who is the star of the show. While the writer warns us about him frequently, part of you still wants him to succeed in his interviews. Even after we have glimpsed some of the ugly truth lurking beneath the handsome exterior, it's true that they say, though, politics is a very dangerous game, especially in the Renaissance Florence. So, this is the story of the George Eliot Romola. I hope you will enjoy it.